What's up guys, Douglas from Dougsterbob.com here, and today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the 2022 Kink Cloud. As you guys know, my mission here is to grow the sport by helping a million people get into it. So I want to break it down. I understand how hard it is to find the right bike. BMX bikes are expensive. There's a million different options. There's a million different qualities. There's a million different specs. So I'm going to look at the Kink Cloud and we're going to figure out what's some issues, what's the quality like, what is the geometry like, is this a good bike for you? We're going to figure all that out in this video. So stay tuned. Let's get right into it. All right, so before we actually get into the video, I wanted to tell you about the free BMX bike recommendation. I know you're probably beating your head against the wall trying to figure out which bike is right for you. And if you want some help from me, all you have to do is fill this out, put in your budget, your height, your skill level, and I'll take a look at all this information and then I'll send you back a recommendation PDF with 3 bikes that are perfect for you. It takes me a little bit of time, so be patient, but fill this out and it's gonna help you out on your BMX bike buying journey immensely. So make sure you do that. Anyway, the Kink Cloud comes in one color. It's a gloss iridescent chrome. It's like a goldish shiny color. I joked about it earlier in a different video talking about this is a really cool color if you're not riding in the sketchy part of town. If you leave your bike out in the sketchy part of town, it's really flashy and it might attract a bike thief. Nobody wants a bike thief. So be careful with that, like partially joking, partially serious. I have a lot of friends who've had their bike stolen and you don't want to mess with that. Otherwise, it does look really sick and it costs $750. That's a lot of money for a bike, but this bike was only $600 in 2021. It went up $150 due to the shipping wars and COVID and all of the issues that manufacturers are facing right now. That's why that price has changed. It's still about the same quality as the 2021 model. So if you find a 2021 model for a lot cheaper, it's the same. It is the same, it was just a lot cheaper for Kink to make in 2021. All right, so let's talk about quality. The Kink Cloud is technically a high-level bike, and the reason for that is because it comes with a full chromoly frame, forks, and bars. This is going to be a lot stronger than the lower quality high tensile steel that comes on complete bikes. If you're serious about BMX, you're serious about riding, you're serious about progression, you do want a full chromoly frame, forks, and bars because they're not going to bend over time. They're going to stay a lot stronger. So make sure you're getting something with at least this level of quality if you're pretty serious about BMX. This bike has double wall rims, front and back, and it comes with 4 pegs. 4 pegs are really solid if you plan to grind right out of the box. You can grind on the left side, you can grind on the right side, and this is really cool. Now, one thing that I do want to point out is it's not pro level quality. The frame is full chromoly, and this is Travis Hughes' signature bike. However, Travis Hughes has a signature Kink Cloud frame, and the frame that comes on this is not his signature. So if you look at the Sunday Soundwave, it's Gary Young's signature frame. You can buy that frame from Sunday for like $350, and that's the frame that comes on the complete bike. The Kink Cloud is just a high-level 100% chromoly frame. It's not the Kink Cloud frame that you could buy aftermarket. So make sure you understand that and know the distinction. It's still a really high-quality bike, but it doesn't have a full aftermarket parts package like the Kink Williams, the Sunday Soundwave, or the We the People Envy. It's still a good bike, but it's not pro level. Now, last thing, it weighs 27.5 pounds. This is including the 4 pegs. So if you took those 4 pegs off, it would be significantly lighter. This really isn't a bad weight. So let's talk about the geometry. This bike comes in a 21-inch top tube. The model below it is the Kink Switch. The Kink Switch comes in a 20.75. You want to make sure that you understand what top tube size is perfect for you. If you get a top tube size that's not right for you, it's really going to hinder your progress and it's going to make riding BMX a lot harder. So Google Dougsterbob size guide and it'll tell you which top tube size is right for you. It's really easy to work and it tells you how different top tube sizes affect your style and affect your riding. So 21-inch top tube, 13.25-inch chainstay. This is about average. Riding a 13.25-inch chainstay is going to make the bike feel a little bit more stable and a little bit more controlled than a 12.75-inch chainstay would, like the one on the Kink Switch. You're going to want a 13.25 if you like to be able to hold your balance in a manuals and you're not really concerned about super responsive 720s, 900s, I don't know. Really responsive tricks aren't going to be as easy on the 13.25. Now the head tube angle is a little bit responsive. It comes in a 75.5 degree head tube angle. This is going to be half a degree steeper than the 75 degree, which is normal. So when you ride a steeper head tube angle, it's going to make the front end a lot more snappy. And what I mean by that is when you turn the wheel with a short offset on your forks and a responsive head tube angle, is you're going to notice that turn initiate right away. If you're riding a 74.5 or a 75 degree head tube angle, that turn, you're going to turn, but it's not going to initiate the turn as fast as it does on the steeper head tube angle. That's a whole different video, but I hope that makes a little bit of sense. Steep head tube angle is good for cornering in bowls and snapping into spins really quickly. The standover height is 8.75 inches. This is close to average. I'd say 9 is about average. With your standover height, most of it is looks, but having a taller standover height makes it easier to grab the seat for toboggans or to pinch the seat for bar spins. Now let's talk about the Dougsterbob score. This is a scoring system that I created to rank each bike on how good they are in street, park, dirt, how good's their quality, and it makes it easy for you to figure out what's important to you and look at bikes that way. So if you're like, oh, I love street riding, then you can categorize the score sheet by street specific bikes and see which one scored the highest. You can look by quality, you can look by weight. If you want this score sheet, there's 80 different bikes. All you need to do is click the link in the description, put in your email address, and I'll send it to you directly. It's updated in real time, so anytime I add a new bike or make any changes, you're gonna see those changes reflect. It's so helpful because you can compare all these different bikes. If you want it, make sure you get it, but let's talk about the Cloud's scores. In street, the Kink Cloud scored a 7. It's a really high quality bike that can withstand big drops and big gaps. It comes with pegs and it also comes with a free coaster. The only thing that would make this bike score higher is some hub guards and a little bit better quality. We would want signature aftermarket parts and not just these high quality parts. In park, it scored a 3. This bike is definitely geared more for street riding and not so much for park riding. You could make a few upgrades to it to make it better for park, but you still couldn't get it park specific like the We the People Versus. In dirt, it only scored a 2. This is because, well, the free coaster is terrible on dirt. If you're riding dirt, you really don't want to use a free coaster, and the bike, it's just not built for dirt. It's more street specific. Now, some other options that you should look at before you make your purchase would be the We the People Versus, the Sunday Street Sweeper, and the Colony Endeavor. I did a review on all of these bikes, so check those out. I'll put the links in the description or just search them on my channel, but you should look at all these different bikes because they're priced close to this $800 price point and they're similar quality. Now, to be fair, I do think the Kink Cloud is probably the best value bike out of all of these. I think the quality that you get is amazing and the price you pay is a little bit cheaper than them, but check out those other bikes and see if those are good choices for you too. Maybe there's something on there that you didn't even know about that you're gonna fall in love with. Now, some potential issues with the Kink Cloud are, well, I talked about the bike getting stolen. Partially joking, partially serious, that could be an issue. Just make sure you're careful with it and that you don't leave it out without being locked up or anything like that. The only other issue is ruining your wheels because it doesn't come with hub guards. So if you're really into grinding, you get this bike, just buy some hub guards. Get 4 universal hub guards that you can throw on there and grind without damaging your hubs. Who is the Kink Cloud for? Well, the Kink Cloud's gonna be for somebody who needs to ride a 21-inch top tube. This person's very serious about BMX. They wanna buy a bike that's high quality, that's not gonna break. They also prefer free coasters over a cassette and have a good budget, if they're willing to spend $750. A beginner on this bike is almost overkill. And if you are a beginner, I don't want to discourage you from buying it, but you really don't need this level of quality until you're at the level where you're doing 360s and 180s and bar spins and you need a solid bike to withstand that level of riding. If you have the money and you just want to throw it at this bike, go for it, but it's almost more than you would need. And the person who would get this bike is someone who really likes street riding. Like I said, it's a very street specific bike right out of the box. And if you ride park, if you ride dirt, this wouldn't really be the right bike for you. Now, the serious question, would I recommend this bike? And the answer is going to be yes. I do want you to take a look at those other bikes that I mentioned, but overall, I do recommend this bike, especially if the 21-inch top tube is the right size for you. The price you pay for this full chromoly frame, forks, bars, 4 pegs, free coaster, and some aftermarket parts. Like it has the Kink Rex bars, which are aftermarket. It has some other aftermarket parts. The amount of money you're paying to get this level of quality is definitely worth it, and I would recommend this bike. So now you're thinking, okay, cool, I like this bike, where can I get it? I'm gonna put a link in the description to this place that I found it for the cheapest. As of right now, it's gonna be Dan's Comp. It's $750, and I have a good relationship with Dan's Comp. If you decide to buy it from there, you are helping out the channel because I make a few dollars when people buy through that link. But you know, don't feel pressured to buy from there. I'm gonna put them because I work with them and they have a really good price. But if you find it somewhere cheaper, please let me know so I can adjust that link and help your fellow BMX riders out. Make sure they get the bike for the best price. Now, if you're still not sure, fill out that free bike recommendation that I talked about, but I'm also gonna put 2 videos up here at the end, and they're gonna be bikes that I think, they're gonna be reviews on bikes that I think you would really enjoy. You can also get this I Heart BMX shirt from my Dougsterbob score. The link is also in the description. If you wanna do that, support the channel. It looks pretty good, it fits good, you know, it makes you look strong. But anyway, guys, have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for helping me grow BMX and being a part of the community. I appreciate you, thanks. Yo, so you're still watching the video. I wanted to ask you a question. Has this channel helped you out? Have you gotten any value from me? If the answer is yes, I want you to consider taking your support to the next level. You could get a Dougsterbob hat, a Dougsterbob shirt, or even hit that donation link in the description. You have no idea how much it helps me. With those donations and that support, I'm able to create higher quality content that helps grow the sport of BMX. We all love BMX, we know why that's important. Thank you so much for being an awesome subscriber and a part of the Dougsterbob community.